Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. There have been multiple movies, both on the big screen and the small screen, hoping to shed light on Hollywood legend Marilyn Monroe. Now, while I haven't seen every iteration, I can't help but think that the new movie Blonde is the most repulsive and disrespectful look back at the life that we've seen so far. It's now streaming on Netflix, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Blonde has been adapted from Joyce Carol Oates' controversial novel of the same name. That's right. Oates writes, Blonde is radically distilled life in the form of fiction. Now, I want to call attention to that for the fact that writer-director Andrew Dominik has chosen to make a fictional retelling of Monroe's life instead of telling an actual real chapter of her life with a new lens or insight. Marilyn Monroe was just a stage name for Norma Jean Mortensen. And Dominik starts his film in 1933 with her as a young girl, living with an abusive and dysfunctional mother played by Julianne Nicholson. It's a really brutal beginning to possibly explain why and how she was doomed from the start. When the film jumps ahead, we find her as an adult starting her career in show business. She's now played by Ana de Armas. She poses for pin-up magazines, and then we see her raped by Mr. Z. And we're to presume that this is head honcho studio head Daryl Zanuck. Now, the film proceeds to follow her entire life, from her career in movies like Some Like It Hot and The 7-Year Itch, to her relationships with Joe DiMaggio, who's played by Bobby Cannavale. Now, he's referred to as ex-athlete, and Adrian Brody as the playwright, aka Arthur Miller. Andrew Dominik's film is one of deplorable filmmaking choices, not only on a technical level, which I'll get to, but also one with misogynistic views, really exploiting both Marilyn Monroe and star Ana de Armas. Now, the young star of Knives Out and No Time to Die probably saw this as an incredible opportunity to channel a Hollywood star and shed light on her life. But Dominik seems to have other plans. She makes the most of what she can, finding Monroe's fractured mental state, all while kind of teetering on the precipice of a complete breakdown. We frequently find her naked, crying, and repeatedly taken advantage of. And Armas has to really live in that state for 2 hours and 45 minutes. At one point, Monroe states, "That thing on screen isn't me." And I don't think that Andrew Dominik even cares what version of the character he is portraying outside of Sexpot. Rarely do we find joy or happiness in how the film portrays her. It's not one of being a great actress or a smart and strong woman. Dominik has de Armas naked for so often it feels just gratuitous and really lost any sense of storytelling purposes. Ana de Armas' natural accent goes in and out inconsistently next to the breathy, soft Marilyn voice that she also inhabits. The choice was never consistent, or an attempt to differentiate whether she was Norma Jean or Marilyn. Now, filmmaking shouldn't be a selfish act, and yet Andrew Dominik feels out to showcase himself as an edgy filmmaker, as that's where his efforts lay. He and cinematographer Chase Irwin utilizes 3 or 4 different aspect ratios while going back and forth between color and black and white photography. But again, their choices don't seem to make any logical sense, as they're not used to differentiate between flashbacks or present day, or when she's Norma Jean or on as Marilyn. Now, she's always fully lit in every frame, despite many of the men in her life who are noticeably in shadow or half-lit, as if to say that she was always in the spotlight. Now, on top of that, it gets very graphic as they depict 2 abortion scenes with the camera basically inside her looking out. Now, I'm choosing not to go into detail here because I think you get my point, but there's no need for this type of tasteless depiction that they actually show. Blonde is told through quick scenes, little vignettes, like scattered memories. Dominik covers a lot of ground here to the point where I thought the movie was actually almost over and I still had 45 minutes left. He's not saying anything new about Marilyn Monroe when choosing a fictional path to go down and then taking the most jarring and vulgar way through. Now, strong performances from Ana de Armas and Adrian Brody can't save this abomination of a movie. I'm giving Blonde 1 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel. I got some other movie reviews, as well as my appearances on Twin Cities Live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Paul's Movie Trip. I'd love to hear from you. Have you watched Blonde? Tell me what your thoughts are. And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Blonde. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.